Okay, I'm going to talk about this passage fairly briefly, but it is a reminder that this is a play with fathers and sons at heart. And we have a quick glimpse not only of Polonius' relationship with Laertes, but also, more importantly, one of the rare moments when actually we see the Queen and Hamlet interact. Particularly important as we need to have a sense of their relationship as it unfolds in Act 3, Scene 4. So there's a heads up there. First of all, the king speaks to Laertes, and you have another sense of the king as a politician, as a statesman. Look at the way he describes his relationship with Polonius, and therefore describes the role that Polonius has as a counsellor. The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. He's using the image of the body of the state almost being interchangeable with the body of a human being, and Polonius representing physical parts of that body. By the way, it's something that Shakespeare does in his later play Coriolanus. I mean, he lifts an idea from Livy, but it's probably on his mind here as well, where the soldiers rise up and because they're not being respected as the Senate is, and they are told that they are the stomach of the body that is Rome, and the senators are the brain, and one can't function without the other. So that corporeal image gives us a sense of what the state is like. We have another hint of what that state is like when the king says to Laertes, thou canst not talk of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. That sense that Denmark is a very rational polity. It does put you right in the heart of that debate, by the way, about what a state should be like and how it should be governed. Should it be governed along the rational principles that Cicero sets out in his book De Officiis, or should it be more impulsive, more glamorous, more old Hamlet-like? This is a state full of reason, although when things go well, Laertes isn't, the king is not above celebrating it by getting absolutely rat-arsed with carouses and cannons firing off. Now, some people, Dover Wilson among them, have noticed that the word Laertes, this proper noun, is repeated 4 times in the king's brief speech, or as often as possible. I wonder if it's slightly that Today programme thing where you say, well, Justin, as your listeners would like to hear, that you almost take an exaggerated interest in your addressee, almost like he's been taught it on a kind of personality course. But he does pay this cloying attention, caressing actually is the word Dover Wilson uses, to Laertes. Laertes has come for the coronation. No, he says the coronation. He doesn't say the funeral of old Hamlet. Maybe it's something that one can't mention in the king's presence. I'm also struck by how unembarrassedly censorious a father Polonius is. Labour some petition, and at last, I said, upon his will, I sealed my heart of consent. He's almost, Polonius is almost presenting himself as a father who cannot control his son, because his son has gone on and on and on and beseeched him at such length that Polonius can no longer resist. If you're looking for a contrast between that and his relationship with Ophelia, it's right there. And Ophelia, as you'll remember, also from the sources, is a stooge, a patsy, somebody Polonius can use and work into positions for the greater good of the state. I've said this is a scene about parents. We also need to look at the relationship between the Queen and Hamlet. And here we have the Queen trying to console Hamlet, very aware that his grief is likely to be at his father's death. She doesn't mention, as she does later on in Hamlet's absence, and our too hasty marriage, but she does allude to the father's death. Is that perhaps because she feels a little remorse about it herself? She does begin, like we'll see Claudius do shortly, she does begin to take apart the reasoning, if that's the word, behind Hamlet's grief. And she uses imperatives: cast thy nightingale colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. That's what we call the usive subjunctive. It's a kind of order. Let's do this, let that happen. It's almost as though Hamlet's lost control of his body and has to just let it follow its natural instincts, which will lead him towards the better. And do not seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest it is common that all lives must die. And then she does a little almost metaphysical poem there with that rhyme, passing through nature to eternity. Hamlet, already acting in his fool-like way, is beginning to pick up on the last thing another character says, repeating the word common here from his mother's use of it. I, madam, 'tis common. Perhaps exploring the ambiguity of that word common, not just a common truth, a general truth, but also common as in not really worth considering because it's just too demotic. Remember that this is a Hamlet who likes a play and says that it is caviar to the general. That is to say, yeah, other people might like. And you have to be as clever as I am to like the kind of play that you do. He dismisses here that which is common. The Queen, however, picks up on her original use of the word common and contrasts it, the common with the particular. So everybody loses their fathers, all lives end. Why are you therefore so particular? Why are you making yourself a special individual case? And there we'll move on to Claudius's own attempt to console Hamlet.